Okay, so here we are at last, out for a little ride on the bike we've just rebuilt, and hoping it's all okay. So it's a very windy, blustery day, but it's dry and it's mild, but you know, it's a really windy one. So not sure how far we're going to get, but we'll go out and give it a blast round. Not sure. So it's all been rebuilt. I'm not going to go into detail because if you've been following the videos, you know all about it. But finally we got the carbs sorted, and so it's running okay. It's certainly breezy today. Anyway, so we're going to give it a quick blast out. I'm not sure how far, as I say, it depends what the weather's like and one thing or another when we get out there in Derbyshire. But fingers crossed, everything's okay, you know, be okay. Let's give it a run. What I'm worried about, I'm worried that it's smoking a bit, because we had the problem with the carbs. It was running very rich because it only run on full choke, and even though we only run it a very little bit, that, you know, that initial engine start is so important, and when having sort of petrol sloshing, unburnt petrol sloshing around in the head, that wouldn't have done the rings any good. But we'll see. That's what I'm worried about, really. But you know, that's the main thing I'm worried about, and obviously find out if anything else is wrong. But as far as I know, it's okay. Right, blimey, I'm going to get myself into my gear, and we'll set off so I don't get blown away. Classic motorcycle mechanics are a marvellous thing. So I got about 500 yards down the road, and sitting at the traffic lights, had the clutch in, and I suddenly realised that the bloody thing is leaking again. You know, the thing is, it's old, it's been buggered about, and I've put on so much PTFE tape and so on, and I can't go to seal. So I've given it one last go, but to do that, to bleed it all again, so you've got to take all this off, you've got to take the actual mechanism off, and like use the piston, like I've used my grips to like push and pull the piston in and reverse bleed it. That's the only way it will bleed. Anyway, I've bled it again. It's been a bastard of a job, sorry, but it has. And I think I've now got the clutch back again, but whether it's still leaking or not, I don't know. You know, I've put even more tape on it and everything. It's the last chance. Otherwise, I'm going to have to renew half the bloody pipe work and so on. Anyway, it's just about back on, just about working. So I just got to put the cover back on, and then hopefully I'll get out for another ride, even though it's late. But the bike seems to be, the good news was the bike seems to be going really well. I only went literally around a block because I didn't get far before I realised the clutch was leaking. But, you know, is it still leaking? It probably is. But anyway, I'll put it back together. I'll give it another go and see what we got. Okay, take two. It's now a couple of hours later. So we're going to go out and see what we got. But the clutch doesn't appear to be leaking. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see. What I'll do is take it out, give it a blast, and hopefully we'll get a bit further than we did last time. Right, I'm back from the ride. I don't know if you could tell, but it was like really, really windy. You know, I mean, gale force up there on the peak. So I got to the top and it was just blowing an absolute gale. So I thought, right, well, that's as far as I'm going today. And that was combined with the fact that I was having a problem with the clutch. Now, I took all the clutch apart and messed about with it, and I've got it working again. It's an absolute pain. And I think I've actually got it so it's not leaking anymore with an awful lot of tape. Plumbing tape. I can't think of the word of it. But it's not disengaging properly. I've got it on. I've got a good. There's hardly any movement before it bites, and then full lever, but it's not enough travel. It's simply not releasing enough. So there's no way you can get neutral or whatever when you're stationary, and it's difficult to get it even when you're rolling along. It does change gear okay, but it doesn't like it. So there's that. I don't know what to do about that. I don't know. Obviously, this is a kit that this hydraulic conversion that a lot of people use, so it should work. But and it's got a very nice light clutch, but light action. But it's simply just not disengaging the clutch enough. Simple as that. And I've got it on pretty maximum adjustment. It's pretty tight, on the screw. There's no clearance there at all. So there's that. I'm not sure what to do about that because I've finally got it so it doesn't damn leak, but it just doesn't release enough. Number one. Number two, I've got leaks. I've cleared it up now, but it's leaking from the down where the downpipes go into the cylinder head. especially on the two outside cylinders. It's leaking there. We've got that very thin black. I've wiped it up now, but a very thin black sort of drip, if you like. What's the word? Smear. So if you got it when it's really black and really thin, it's not oil. It's coming out of the cylinder head. It's unburnt fuel and that coming out of the cylinder head. So it's leaking. It's leaking on the two outside ones. So that's got to be addressed. I'm not sure. I thought I'd address that, but it still seems to be definitely leaking from there. There's those two things. But the other thing is, of course, well, not of course, but the main problem is that it is indeed smoking. Dear, not badly, but not just a little. It's smoking, more than I would like. Is it ever going to then clear itself up? Possibly. Will it clear with running in? Possibly, but probably not. It's a bit too, I still give it a bit of time, but the fact that it's smoking now, from my experience, is probably not going to clear up. But I do know people who've had bikes that smoked when they were only just being put back together, and then they stopped smoking after a while. But anyway, there we go. So for whatever reason, it's smoking. So there's something. What I mean is there's something wrong. Whether we run it on choke and the fuel in the the raw fuel in the head is that prevents the rings from lubricating properly and they can get damaged, or whether it wasn't done properly by the engineers. I don't know, but whatever the case is, it's smoking. They're very expensive rings. I think we've got Goertz rings in there. They're either Goertz or Amiga, which are the two rings that are good, but it's smoking. I mean, it wouldn't be that big a job to replace them because, of course, all the main work has been in taking everything apart to blast clean it and so on. But obviously, it's not a job, and it won't be that cheap to do it. But I don't know. So anyway, for those, mainly because of the wind and mainly because of the clutch, I didn't know about the leak from the head at the time. Although I'm glad I did come back. The leak, the fuel leak, as it were, the spent fuel, the black. I'm quite glad I came back because otherwise it would have made a total mess of the new cylinder head and that. Although being fuel, it does wash off pretty easily. It's not like oil. But anyway, so we come back. So those are the problems. I don't know what to do about this clutch. The only thing I can think to do about the leaking pipes, headers, is to replace these. Are a non-standard. These rings are non-standard. So I don't know. We could probably try replacing those and also putting some sort of sealant. There's gun gum or some sort of tape, maybe, to try and seal those. But but I don't know. You've probably seen on the video the actual bike is running well. The engine's pulling really strong. I'm really pleased with it. It runs nicely. But it's just there's the clutch. Well, we could sort that, and the oil and the leak from the pipes, we can do that. But smoking is a bit of a bigger problem. But hey ho, that's the way it is. So I'll talk to the owner and about what he wants to do, and we'll take it from there.